welcome to Dropped In. Caroline, I am so excited to be here with you and to welcome you to our Dropped In community.
Thank you so much.
So, I always love to ask my guests for you to share who you are and what you do, as opposed to me reading your bio.
My name is Karoleen Fober, and I am an intuitive and a divine energy reader and a business and life mastery coach. And I have been coaching for over 25 years, and I just wrote a book. Seems like just, but it's actually a little over a year, Opening to Divine Intervention. And I'm just excited to share all that I've learned through the divine interventions and really expanding my own intuitive abilities and to help others because I believe that we all have intuition, we all have access, but it's can be confusing. And most people gave it up somewhere between the ages of 6 to 8. And so it's a matter of not necessarily relearning everything, it's just reconnecting.
Oh my goodness. I am going to just share right now. I can tell that today's conversation is going to be so supportive for our community, and I'm really excited to share our mutual connection in terms of intuition. So I love what you shared in terms of most people lose their access between the ages of 6 to 8. Can you drop into that even deeper?
Yeah, think back when we were all 6. We're in school, we're learning how to read, we're learning a little bit about math, we're learning other languages to be ready to communicate on earth. But we come here with our spiritual communication. I believe that is our original language. And that is why it hasn't gone away. It's just gone to the back burner. It's something that our culture doesn't fully embrace and teach. So imagine being a young person in another country and you're speaking, let's say, Russian, and then you move and no one is speaking that language or maybe even talking about it. So you're learning, let's say you move to the United States, so you're at full learning English. And so you might have some inklings of some words that somebody might say, or you might read it down the road as you get older. But that kind of it just goes away. It's like muscles. If we are laid up in bed, those muscles atrophy. It just takes a little bit of practice. I say, imagine learning how to drive. We see other people driving, but we may not think we can do it. They'll say, "Oh, Caroline, you are intuitive, but I'm not." And I say, "Oh, just get in the car and let's learn how to drive. Let's learn how to really connect again, activate our spiritual communication ability, and let that be maybe our number one focus." Because as you probably know and share with your clients, it truly is information that's invaluable. Many times it's going to give you answers you could have never figured out by yourself or taken a really long time. And it comes in instantly. So it's just really your best friend, and we need to be utilizing it.
Indeed. It is our best friend, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. So I'm curious because I believe I read that you were in a completely different profession before you do the work that you're doing today. Is that correct?
That's correct. I have a degree in education, early childhood education. I was a teacher. And then I became a financial advisor and did that for 15 years. And then I was called to start coaching other people. And I was doing it intuitively. I'm not sure I was leading with that, but I was certainly utilizing it. I was that kid somewhere around 8. I did not give up my abilities. I just kept them a little quiet because on the playground, I remember one of my friends, he was talking about what he had done that weekend. And he said to about 8 or 10 of us standing around him, he said, "And then do you know what happened?" And I just said, "Yes, this happened." And everybody's eyes got big. And he said, "How do you know that?" And I was like, "How do they not know it?" So
Mm.
I believe that it was either strong enough for me or I enjoyed it enough and utilized it enough and saw the benefit as a young child. I went quiet for a little while, but I have continuously used it. And then it was just a matter of paying attention to the many divine interventions that I started taking note of. But as a financial advisor and then coaching financial advisors, I learned a lot about communicating with people, but paying attention to what inklings I was given. And they were always invaluable. I built every business that I have done through intuition and divine energy.
Oh, that's profound. I love that. And I love that you shared, doesn't everybody know this? Because was that a moment in time where subconsciously, do you think, where you started to quiet the voice within?
Absolutely. I was raised a Methodist, and no one was speaking about their miracles or divine interventions. It was that more quiet way. And so I was okay with that. I'm just glad I didn't let it go. And so that's, I think, then when down the road and my mom died, I later on, I realized that I had hired a medium because I was sad and depressed. And if it wasn't with, if I wasn't with my family or with clients, I was in bed basically
Mm.
for 2 years. And so I realized that I wanted to get a medium. I wanted to talk to my mom. It was that simple. I needed to. And so after the reading, the person that did the divine reading, she says, "Oh, you're just like me." I, of course, denied it. I was like, "Oh, I knew I was intuitive, but I really didn't think I had a strong connection with our deceased loved ones. It certainly hadn't ever gone too far in that." But then when you really take a step back, I realized that when my maternal grandmother died when I was 19, she seemed like she was with me all the time instead of us separated by 3 hours since I'd gone to college. I think I feel like I can relate to so many people because I was in a bit of denial myself and not utilizing everything that we all have available. So I understand when people say, "Oh, I don't think I can do that," because I did a little bit of that with certain parts of the spiritual communication.
I can relate to very much all of your story, even to the passing of my father. So is that part of the work that you do today is mediumship then?
I do pretty much lots of things. I do divine readings, and in those readings I will do the mediumship. I will do the reading their own soul's energy, and then what I call divine guidance, so the full spiritual realm is accessible. And then I do a an energetic alignment that is more into the healing category. I don't really say that it's healing. I just say we're going to align your energy, and that's obviously then it usually heals everybody. And so that's for the readings, but I also coach people because lots of people are waking up with their own divine intervention and spiritual abilities. And it's really helpful to have somebody as a mentor and a guide because when that happened all those years ago, luckily I asked, how can I expand my own abilities if I'm truly like this other person? And she said, meditate. So I started meditating 1 to 2 hours a day. And it wasn't like, oh, I had to go from 3 to 5 in the afternoon. No, I did it in the morning. I usually woke up somewhere between 5 or 6 anyway. And I usually didn't have to get up right away. So I started meditating right while I was in bed. And that's the one thing I can tell everyone, that if you aren't going quiet, if you don't, we have such busy lives. And now with technology, it's a rat race. And so we really have to get quiet and begin to trust, begin to connect. It is going to take a little bit of experience and practice. It takes 2 years to get your driver's license. It takes a while to reconnect and really understand what you're doing. But once you do and start trusting it, people, my clients and students tell me, they go, I am getting messages. So it's exciting to be on that walk with them, that journey with them, because it's fun to see people wake up and really start connecting and utilizing all the benefits. Yeah.
Yes. So you mentioned meditation to reconnect with your inner guidance. So for those listening, I'm sure they're like, okay, what kind of meditation? What's the
Yes.
secret code here?
We could talk all night about meditation. And it's really, I have found that everybody is very tense about meditation because, uh-oh, we have to do it. We think
Right.
great thing about meditation is there really is no right. It's a process of engaging and like I'm the girl that I'm just going to lay in bed with my pajamas on and I'm going to lay there, close my eyes. And if I go to sleep, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I will meditate in a walk where
Mm,
you're just going within. It's not like you have to pay attention. You can pay attention where you're walking, but it's like driving. I even meditate when I'm driving, my
yeah.
eyes open.
Yeah.
So I suggest to people try everything. If you're not finding it yet, keep going because it's going to help you. And it's also such a health benefit. We're all made up of these cells, and then we live in this kind of chaotic world with cell phones and emails and busy life, rearing our children and working. It's just a lot. And so you need to take at least 15 minutes a day or more. People say only 15 minutes. I said, oh, dang, I love to meditate. Why would I only do it for 15 minutes?
Yeah.
It's really embracing. And I tell people, there are some people that say, I don't know about meditation. I don't think I'm going to be spiritually communicating. And I say, you do pray or not? And they go, yeah, I've been praying since I was a kid. I said, you're really communicating spiritually with our creator. Aren't we expecting answers? This to me is the foundation of communicating spiritually. And so, whether I really recommend that we pray and ask. My guides have told me praying is so underutilized. Bad
Mm,
things are happening and we aren't asking for help. We should be
mhm.
asking for help. I walk around my condo when I'm in Florida and I'm talking to my spiritual team all the time.
Yeah.
And my husband knows that. In fact, I talk to my spiritual team more than I talk to any person. So I'm saying thank you. I'm saying help.
Yeah.
I'm saying, help me now. What do you think of that? And it's so easy. So it's
Mhm.
not like just, oh, Karoleen, because she's done it professionally for a while. Communicating spiritually is just natural. It's just a natural process. And I say, we were given all these systems, our breathing system, we can even sing. Some of us don't sing very well, but we can all sing. And so not everyone is going to go on this journey, and that's okay. But wow, you're going to miss so much if you're not plugged in. And that's really my purpose. That's my mission is to get more people plugged into their beautiful spiritual communication ability.
Oh my goodness, you are a gift and you're speaking my language. And
Yay.
I love that you spoke into the whole concept around meditation because I know I'm a Kundalini yoga and meditation teacher, so there can be with that a lot of rigidity.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we think we have to sit, we have to go into our sadhana at 3:30 in the morning, and we have to have the whole setup. And if we aren't doing it on time, if we aren't doing it perfectly, then we're not doing it, right? And I am a firm believer that when I have a bath, I'm meditating. When I'm in my forest with
Yes.
my dogs, I'm meditating. I really love that you shared that because we can put so much pressure on ourselves to have the perfect setup, the perfect routine. And if something's out of alignment, then I didn't meditate today. So I really love that you tapped into that. So thank you.
Yes, it's truly something that I find frustration with almost everybody. And they say, "Do you recommend music? Do you recommend these mantras?" And I say, "I recommend it all. It's a more of a matter what works for you." And again, use multiple ways. And that kind of makes me want to talk about getting our messages. We feel like it has to be, okay, you got it this way and so I have to do it that way. No. I always say, look, people, we just have to surrender to it. We have to, and that's why I created the 5-step system, the acute system, because I felt like people were a little bit lost. And I thought, if I had been on the journey and not given up that intuitive ability, but I realized, boy, if I had, I would like something simple to follow. And so I created the acute system. The A stands for accept, because if you're not accepting that it's happening, it's the mountains over there, and you're saying, oh no, it's not there. So in your head, it's there, but it's not.
Yeah.
So you have to accept it. And then the C is for claiming it. It's one thing to say, oh, Carol, yeah, I understand it. People are intuitive. But if you don't claim it for yourself, do you see how you're almost rejecting it? And then the utilization of all the tools, the tips, and the strategies, that's where I get into the fun stuff and really help my clients. Because once you do the connection part, then it's just a matter of some tips, some quick tips and strategies that really accelerate everything. And then the trust. The
Mhm.
trust is where we really have to surrender. We really have to say, hey, and I've had people ask me, they'll say, you're like doing a reading. Aren't you scared you're going to be wrong? I said, sure. I remember the first time I got on the bicycle, I thought
Yeah.
I'd probably fall off. But
Mhm.
after a while, you learn to surrender. And it's not me that's making this stuff up. I'm just the one waiting for the message and then I deliver it. So when you can learn to surrender and just relax and trust that you're going to be given in whatever way you're going to be given the messages, you can relax and really trust. And then E, the T is for trust, the E is to enjoy acute, to really go, wow. If you played with it instead of worked at it, you see the difference of the energy. And you really want to keep a lightness about it because if, again, it's energy. We live in a divine energy system made of electromagnetic energy. The science now knows all this.
Yeah.
What's been around forever, science is catching up and giving those of us that need the science the proof. And that's good. But we really can begin to understand that if you know that you are made up of energy and you're a magnet and how you're feeling, it's what you're going to attract more of. So
Mhm.
we're people magnets, really. And because I like to make things simple, I'm a former preschool handicap teacher. So I love making things really simple and doable and fun. And so I understand what can hold people back, but that is what we have to really get down and talk about. We have to say, no, you have to look at your energy. If you're really sad, if you're really nervous, if you have a lot of anxiety, if you are doing too much, let's say, it's going to be harder to get those messages. And you
Mhm.
really do want to slow down a little bit because it's not good for your body. That's why I talk about energetic alignment is that we are not designed to worry about every decision that comes our way. And that's why most of the time I don't know what to do. I say, what do you think? And to my
Yeah.
spiritual team, I ask for help. And then I use tools. I have a pendulum. These have been used forever. And once you learn how to use it, it reads the divine energy system, and divine energy does not lie. And that's the peace that I have. And that's the trust that I have.
Oh
And
my
that
goodness.
everyone can have.
I love it. I love it. I love acute. I love that acronym. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I love that you're speaking into the levels of energy because it is real, right?
Yes.
And when your aura is expanded, you are able to attract on that higher vibration. But when it's cluttered with all that stagnant debris and energy, you're going to be attracting at a low vibrational frequency. So I love that you
Yeah.
spoke.
Yeah, it's going to be like, oh, I have to get through the muck. And a lot of the messages are subtle. Once you don't need it so loud that you begin to sense things. A lot of people say, how do we know it's a divine message? maybe it's my imagination. Maybe it's just a crazy thought. And I go, who cares? If I have a rule and I call it my first thought rule. So I don't sit there and dissect. See, that's where we're in our left brain.
Mm,
Most people are in their left brain, which is the logical side of our brain. And thank God we have it. But they say we're using it 95% of the time. That should not happen. That means that your intuitive side, your right side of the brain, is only being used on average 5%. So you see how you're missing all that? So you have to get out of trying to be right and be a kid and say, oh, maybe it's this. And first thought rule means that pay attention. That's my rule. Pay attention to your first thoughts. Go with those. Because in my experience, and maybe you too, it's usually the first thing that comes in. And the logical brain, the problem with the logical brain is you'll get your messages because people say, oh, I don't get them. I go, oh, you do. But the left side of your brain is so overly active that it's talking you out of it. Oh, no, not this. Oh, no, not that. That happened to me. And I paid a reasonably big price from a car accident that I had. I was told divinely that I was going to get hit by a car. And I went into my logical brain. I went into saying, I think that he's further away than they know or whatever's going on here. I don't think I'm going to get hit. I think I'll be fine. And I don't want to slow down because it was a snowy day. I didn't want to slide. But oh, yeah, a few seconds later, I was hit.
mm,
And I just remember the spin, everything went dark. And then I find out later that because I had a sense that was on my maternal grandfather or great grandfather that helped me.
mm,
And I asked a medium friend at years later if that was what happened, and she said they're speaking Gaelic, and my grandfather was born in Ireland. So
mm.
I knew that I was I would had was on to something there. But so I should have landed in the cornfield, but no, I landed safely about a mile in the opposite direction. The car had turned around, but I don't know how many times my car spin around. I really don't. But I was fine, but the car didn't make it.
Oh my God.
But that was maybe the biggest time, the biggest price I paid for not listening. So you can bet your bottom dollar that I listen now. And
Yeah.
I've talked to so many people, they say the same thing. They say, yeah, I'll get something. And then I just drop it. I say, you want to get into new habits with your intuition.
Trust.
Yeah.
Yes.
First rule, go with it.
Yes, exactly. Oh my goodness. I could be here with you all day. We haven't even spoken about your book yet. So tell me about your book.
I was given a divine reading 25 years ago, January 15th, 2000. And I was told, you will write a book and it will be important for the world. And
Mm,
I stunned me and I did not want to write a book. I was hoping somebody else might want to do that. But I didn't forget it because I've always been that person from even a young child that I loved God. I gave my life to Christ when I was 12. So I had and have a big relationship with our creator and all the spiritual realms. So I truly thought, okay, fine. Yes, I'll do it if you think I can. But I didn't know what it was about. So I put it on the back burner. We get busy with life. In 2018, 18 years later, I thought, I just really don't know what this book is about. But I thought I could start writing down all my divine interventions. I thought, let's be helpful and just get something done. So I started writing. I thought, oh, I'll have like maybe 15 or 20. I had 30. A couple weeks later, it went to 50. And then I live in Iowa for most of the year. And then when we came down to Florida, I had my list of 50 in my carry-on. And I was sitting at this very desk looking at it. And that list became connected by a gold cord that was pulsating. And I knew that they were all connected. And I said out loud, oh my God, this is the book. And then a couple of years went by, but I did publish it in September of 23. And it's got over 80 of my over 450 divine interventions. And then I was told by my spiritual guides that to really take everybody on my life journey so that they could begin to relate and maybe wake up to their own divine interventions. I did that. And it even woke me up to some I had forgotten. So we've forgotten a lot of these things that happened in our lives. And the book is really a beautiful invitation to reconnect to your own divine intervention in your life of being spiritually connected.
Oh my goodness, I cannot wait to read it.
Thank you.
I love that you shared. Can somebody else write it? And it was like, no, it's divinely yours. And that's what's in.
Yeah.
My goodness. My goodness.
Yes. And we're
Well,
being
like I
called.
said, we are being called. Yes. Yeah. I've received the call to write a book as well. I was like, oh, and I'm writing it, but it's a journey.
Oh, that's exciting. Trust me, I support you, and you can get one day at a time.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. So I know everybody's going to want to know how they can connect with you, how they can find your work. So please share with us.
Okay. My book is Opening to Divine Intervention, and you can get that on Amazon. Go to my website, KaroleenFober.com. I'll spell that for you, Karoleen, Fober, Fober.com. And for all of the listeners, I would love for you to have this freebie. It's a free intuition assessment. It's going to only take you a couple minutes, and it's going to educate you as you fill it out. And I also have an intuition mastery accelerator program. So you can check all those things out on my website, and I'm also on Facebook, Karoleen Fober. I look forward to connecting.
Wonderful. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for sharing what I love to say, magic and medicine, with our community. And before we say goodbye for now, I love to ask my guests this question. So for the listeners who are feeling like quitting or throwing in the towel, what is a message of hope that you can offer them?
Lean in. Lean into your spiritual partnership. Life is too hard to do it yourself. And I get that. So I'm praying, I'm asking for help, and utilize people like us to get you going and to maybe support you a little bit. I know I wish I'd had more help, but keep going and trust that good things are there for you, and stay as positive as you can. You can vent a little bit, but set a timer. Give yourself 5 minutes. I tell my clients when they'll come to the call and kind of grumpy, I say, "Oh, okay." I said, "Let me get my timer out right now. You've got 2 minutes. I don't care what you say, bad words, I don't care. Just say it. Let's get it over with." And they start laughing. Of course, they're not going to do it now. So you want to be really responsible for your energy. You are a divine gift, and you are meant to be loved, guided, and protected, and to really lean into your best life. And so that's what I wish for all of you.
Oh my goodness. So beautifully said and shared. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's been an absolute joy having you, and thank you again for the work that you do in this world.
Thank you so much. And for you too.
Thank you. Most people think scaling is about doing more strategy, more hours, more effort. Your success isn't about how hard you work. It's about how well your nervous system can hold what you're building. If your body is stuck in survival mode, no strategy in the world will make scaling feel sustainable. You'll stay in this cycle of overthinking, self-sabotaging, pushing harder while getting nowhere. Not because you don't know what to do, but because your system isn't wired to receive what you're working for. That's why I created the Inner Pharmacy Playbook. 143 power pages of real, high-level strategy to regulate your nervous system, rewire resistance, and finally step into momentum that sticks. Because you weren't meant to build your empire through exhaustion. You were meant to build it with ease, clarity, and power. And that starts here. Go to the show notes and grab your copy of the Inner Pharmacy Playbook, because the next level of your business is not about grinding harder. It's about becoming the version of you who can hold it all.